What's up guys, Vikingness back here with another video. Before we get into this one, so this is 10 things or over 10 things of what you are going to need to know, and certainly what I wish I knew when you start playing Chaos Dwarfs. So this is specifically faction specific for the Chaos Dwarfs. But before we get into the video, I'd really appreciate it, guys. YouTube is telling me that a lot of you guys that watch are not subscribed. I am trying to grow the channel. The more views and the more people we have subscribed, the more games I'll do, and the more stuff I can do, because it actually makes it worth it. So for the gaming side of that, obviously we do motivational videos and everything as well, sort of like once a month. Or a couple of times a month. Like, I try and do one once a week, but we're getting off the Pacific. So without further ado, guys, I really hope you enjoy all the content we do here, and let's get into the video. With the we will start with the economy, because let's face it, it's kind of important. So obviously we all know by now that we've got raw materials, armaments, and probably one of the most important things you can get is your conclave influence. Now I'm pretty much at the end of the campaign now, so I will just go over to the tower. In one more turn we will have confederated all of the dwarfs, and when you confederate, if somebody takes one of your banners, which they did, don't panic, just keep getting to the top and you can confederate. When you do confederate, you also get all their bonuses, which is really good. So we're getting all these bonuses now because we pretty much own everything. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do, because this is your game. You can still play it however you wish. However, there are two I would start with, and that is the raw materials and the armaments, if you can. I forget which one it is. I think it's this one here. No, that's campaign movement. There it is. And the armament. So you've got one there, and the raw materials. Now, raw materials, you are going to need to focus this at the start, because without raw materials you pretty much can't build anything. So it's really important that the first thing you start off with is your raw materials, because I guarantee you, if you want to get things up, there you are, you're going to have to get raw materials. Now, it's very important that you understand not all buildings cost raw materials, some cost money, so we're going to build the money building. So these at the start are going to be your main two to focus on. Now, labour. You can do many things with labour. We can get our conclave influence, which if you're going to do at the start of the campaign, I would recommend hitting this button as much as you can, because obviously the more up the tower you get, the easier your life is going to be. But if you are struggling province wise, you can also use your labourers to boost your control and your morale of your cities. Also, if you find yourself in a little bit of a pinch, you can also use labourers to get some more money. So at the cost of 200 labourers, we'll get 2,250 gold, which is going to be, if you're trying to build armies or if you have an emergency, really handy to have. Definitely worth doing. So as you can see, we haven't got much money. Do this a couple of times because we've won some fights, so we can definitely afford it. We've got our money coming back up. That is a substantial amount. We can do quite a lot with that. like increase. So there's like a little tip and trick of what I wish I knew. So again, you can use your labourers to boost. I would recommend you get the conclave up as fast as you can, because you're going to want all these really nice bonuses. Okay, moving on. So in this next part, we're going to talk about your lords and your armies. So here we have your armies. When you're making your armies, obviously your leaders are going to get all their bonuses. They're going to be good at a specific thing. When building your armies, I would say it's very, very important that whatever you put into your slots, make sure your armies are built accordingly. So we have a lot of goblins. We've put a few points into dwarfs. You are not getting these bonuses in your armies if you are not using these units. It's something very, very basic, but again, really, really important that we are building an army specific. So I've done that by an example. We go on to Zoltan the Black. He's got a pretty beastie army, and he has all his points into the units he is using. So we're getting bonuses for each unit that he has in his army. Now, I've put a couple of points in other things because I want to be able to change Zoltan's the Black's army if and when I use it. So make sure the army you've got is fit for the bonuses you have building specific armies. It's not a must do, but if you're gonna do it, make sure you're using the units in the army that you are buffing, otherwise it's completely pointless. So think further into the future rather than building a really basic army and dragging it in, because once you get to mid game you're gonna need to make sure your armies are fit enough and strong enough to be able to take on the heavier things like Archaon and Dragon Ogre Shaggoths and things like that, and dragons. Obviously the AI, as it moves forward, the stronger factions are going to have stronger units, so it's really important you build your armies specifically for what it is you want them to do. And sticking with the old armies, the Hellforge. Obviously, when you build your armies, you're going to want specific units. You are going to need your armaments. With your armaments, you can also go onto your factories, and with these you can give your unit specific buffs. These are absolutely awesome, well worth it. So each buff is going to give you a little bonus. So we've got charge reflection, spell resistance, really good if you're fighting like elves or Archaon, someone that's going to use magic. You've your missile infantry, extra reload, probably not so much, but if it means that they get more shots in, it's always a bonus. You've got better armor penetration, better missile strength, better missiles, just well worth it. These buffs, as you can see, I haven't got this one active yet. That's because my armies do not have these units in. I'm sort of focusing a little bit more on these guys. So again, with the buffs, make sure you're using these units in your armies before you spend your armaments on them, because if you're building loads of armies with goblins and things in it, there's no point spending loads of armaments on dwarfs or monsters or artillery and machines if you're not going to use them. Your armaments can be used for other things. Which brings us on to my section 3. Section 3, we're going on to caravans. Caravans. These are so important that you do these as and when you can, and you are gonna wanna prioritize these guys, laborers, because let's be honest, they pretty much are the soul of everything. They are the soul of your economy, they are the soul of money, and you can use your laborers to do pretty much everything. They are so important. So make sure also, if you've got a couple of caravans going to place, it's really important that you don't select people you are at war with, because what will happen is your caravans will go there and you will get killed or stopped by the people you are at war with. So as you can see here, we can get a few raw materials. Make sure, especially in the early game, you are doing your caravans. Try not to forget. I know it's a lot, and I've also done it in my streams, but try and make sure you are getting your caravans out as quickly as you can, and make sure that you're keeping some resources back so you can actually do them. And we're going to move on to technology as well. As you can see, I've done quite a lot in military because I'm doing a lot of fighting. Again, you have sorcery. Not really touched much on that because I don't feel that it's very necessary. But again, industry really important as well. Getting those laborers. You don't have to rush anything specifically in your Chaos Dwarfs, because over time you'll get what you need anyway. You just have to be a little patient. So those are the tips, guys. Again, we'll now come over to the final section, which of course is your buildings. Make sure you are building these towers whenever you can, because that is the only way you are going to be able to recruit your proper units and get all the benefits and bonuses. As you can see, you can get a lot of money from here, but it's got to be able to get to top tier, otherwise you're wasting your time. You can swap these out, of course, for whatever you want, but if you have an option to get a tower, build a tower. It's the only way you are going to get all the things out of your economy and out of the Chaos Dwarfs. So build towers whenever you can, caravans and labourers. Those are the three main points. I wish I definitely knew, and I promise you, if you focus on these things, you will have a very nice time. So as you can see, I want to just go over this point here. Some of them, you can't, even if you build, some of them are just not worth building towers on, because especially when you have the ogres, you only get 3 slots in the towers anyway. But for like a main province, as we have here, you're going to want to build towers here. Do not build factories or anything else, because it's just a waste of time. You are going to want to get as much out as you possibly can of all your units and all of your bonuses. So again, you're going to want to focus on all these buildings, because you can only build them in towers. So make sure you are building towers in all your provinces. And as it stands for armies, as you can see here, got a little bit of a mix. We're not quite finished this army yet, but you can build them however you like. I would strongly suggest focusing on specific armies to do specific jobs, but again, if you're going to put points in, make sure you're building your armies accordingly. So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. It's a very very quick one. I've tried to do this quickly. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on the video or join the Discord, which will be in the link in the description down below, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. I will see you very soon. And if I don't see you soon, I will see you in Valhalla. Bye for now, guys. We'll be right back.